So sex and money has become a weapon in itself. And that is why it is important to be in a relationship whereby you are both mature. Remember, marrying someone just because of what they have, sometimes it can bring no sense. And that is why in this very moment, as I'm explaining this, it's for each one of us to break free from certain ideologies that try to manipulate us from realizing who we are in relationships. Elena Roosevelt says something. The battle for rights is long standing. None should countenance what undermines it. Remember, this is point number 8. So the battle for rights is long standing. None should countenance what undermines it. So, in order for you to have something tangible in your relationship, in your marriage, these two things you need to be very sensitive with: sex and money. Stop weaponizing it, stop using it to your advantage against your partner. It does not make the relationship become. In the book of Ephesians 5:25, husbands, love your wives, seek the highest good for her with unselfish love. And wives, submit to your husbands. That is what that scripture is talking about. So seek the good for your husband and for your wife. That is what it is required. Ensure that you give your wife love, and as the husband, as the wife also, you give your husband that love that comes from you submitting and all that. So using sex or money as weapons doesn't show strength; it exposes immaturity. Using sex or money as weapons doesn't show strength; it exposes immaturity. So it reveals what kind of a person you are, who you are. And that is why I keep on telling partners: speak about it, talk about it, discuss about it, build something that is tangible around it. Make sure that when you're with your partner, there's something that you're structuring. Don't fight over this issue. It's all about talking and discussing. Be mature enough. In fact, be the grown up in that relationship to build something that is futuristic. So, point number 9: divorce culture, society's silent agenda. Divorce culture, society's silent agenda. Hollywood glamorizes divorce, making brokenness look like freedom. That is what the movies are telling us. That is what these people tell us. And they show it publicly. They don't care because they tend to tell us, divorce is okay. But on what grounds? I'm not saying that you should be with a partner that is violent, a person that promises every other day that is going to unalive you or delete you. So you need to be in a place whereby you will be able to enjoy the benefits of what marriage is. But we can see what Hollywood does. It glamorizes divorce, making brokenness look like freedom. But it is never freedom. That was not the agenda of God. The world profits, lawyers, courts, industries thrive while families crumble. Do you get what I mean? So when families are going down, that is where many people are thriving. In the area of crisis, that is where most people get it right and become, they become wealthy because they take advantage of the situation. And many people don't see it. So I'm saying, don't stay in a toxic marriage whereby you feel your life is threatened. But if it is something that the both of you can talk about it so that you can bring something that is beautiful, I think the both of you need not to be selfish. G.K. Chesterton said the obvious effect of frivolous divorce is frivolous marriage. A marriage that lacks that beauty, that essence of becoming. Every other time, what we see is divorce. And I think both of us need to understand that marriage is not a playground for sex. Marriage is not a place you just bring your ideologies thinking that the other partner lacks the ability to think. And this one, I'm talking to men. Even the ladies we marry, these women, they have their own brains. They have their own capacity to bring the best even into that relationship. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed. In fact, I can finish that very verse. Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You need to change your way of thinking in order for you to become and to belong. That is where the beauty of everything is. That is where you can begin seeing yourself having something that is tangible. Divorce isn't just a personal choice, it's a business model society profits from. Divorce isn't just a personal choice, it's a business model society profits from. How unfortunate it is that such a thing can happen and people are okay with it. I think it is a high time for people to arise and shine and become and realize that there is an order that people need to follow, and it's a divine one indeed. Because marriage is not just something that is physical, it is a covenant that is beyond physicality. It is a covenant that is between man, woman, and God, and it can't be easily be broken. So, point number 10, which is the final point: redemption, returning to God's design. So, sex, money, separation, and divorce need to define marriages. These four things need to define marriage. Redemption is possible through humility. Redemption is possible through humility. Like I said, the reason why divorces are happening, it's because people have a difficulty in their hearts to make the marriage work. And that is why even Jesus spoke these words to his disciples. He told them the reason why Moses provided, for you guys the certificate of divorce, it's because the conditions of your hearts were not divinely orchestrated. There was no order that was of God, and that is why you people, it was difficult for you to make that your marriages work. That is why divorce was so rampant in those days, even in today's world. So humility is what will bring relationships to healing, forgiveness, and God's wisdom too. So be wise enough to know that the only way to make your marriage is whereby you are humble enough to forgive and also to ask God for wisdom to make that relationship. The late Miles Monroe said, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. And that is why every other day I tell people from different places, you know what? Marriage without purpose will eventually die. Marriage without purpose will eventually die. So remember, marriage is a place of understanding why you're getting married. Marriage is a place of understanding the purpose as to why it should be. In the book of Ephesians chapter 4, 2 to 3, with all humility, making every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit. What do I mean? Divorce courts won't heal marriages. Only returning to God's order will. Divorce courts will never heal marriages. It will never rescue marriages. No matter how hard we try, those things will never work. Only returning to God's order. That is what will happen. Understand, the intentions of God for marriage was based in his divine order. And all those things were revealed by Christ himself. So if you want to get married today, all I can say, the right age for you is to gain knowledge, to gain understanding, and to gain wisdom, so that that marriage can become something that has, something tangible, something that is futuristic, something that is eternal. Marriage can work and marriage can become, as long as the both of you are willing to make it something worthwhile. Take responsibility, my brother. Take responsibility, my sister.